Hello, hope you all are doing well today. My question is for Coach. I guess just talk about what did you like from the first two games, and then what are some things you wish your team could improve on?
Yeah, great question. I think obviously right away from game one to game two, we significantly got better. We shored some things up. We had some extra personnel here to help us, which was great. But I think even just defensively for us, that was the biggest challenge. We wanted to make things a lot more uncomfortable. We wanted to communicate better. We wanted to stick with our original coverages. For example, not switching too early too often. And I thought we did a better overall job. We shored some things up offensively where we really could take advantage of our strengths based on the personnel that we had, based on our health and based on our additions over here. So I thought we did a much better job, gave ourselves um, a chance to be in the game. And so that was the biggest adjustment there. But we also realized how competitive this league is, how intense it is. So with that being said, we had 3 days that the game was a third day, but we were able to have six players in the game. And so we had growth just being around as a group. So that was our biggest difference there. And we just want to continue to get better offensively, in the sense of learning each other's tendencies, using our strengths. And so I think as we have more time together, even this weekend, we'll unfortunately be missing a few pieces, but I think the more time we have together as a group, we'll get better on both ends of the floor.
Thank you.
Anybody else have questions? Please raise your hand. Going once. Okay, Nikias.
Hi everyone. Hope you're doing well. One for Coach and one for Natisha, if that's okay. For you, Coach, as you already alluded to, the defense and with the switching in particular is something we talked a little bit about preseason. Did you feel that was just a feeling out period in terms of some of the early switching, or was where offense is kind of putting you in those spots to make those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, every night you're presented with different matchups. All of these women are incredible players. So every night you're presented with a different challenge. So sometimes that's depending on the personnel you're playing against. Do you switch too early when they're physical and a little bigger? That's to their advantage. Then there's times with that you can switch based on lineups out there, size, etc. So that's what really we're trying to figure out. And I will always keep saying this. Like, at the end of the day, too, this is a massive part of their development. So we want to work on switching when it doesn't necessarily make sense sometimes. And so that's why even in the preseason, we were feeling things out, what we could do there. And then we go back and watch film. Then we have conversations about it, what we could do better. But also there's buy-in to be like, here's why we want to keep this matches. Here's why we want to switch. So that's all part of the development as us coaches, being able to see that, adjust on the fly, communicate it to our players, them also to receive it and execute the game plan.
Got you. And for Natisha, it felt like your ball pressure defensively and your drives on the other end were really impactful as you got those minutes. Just how have you kind of been processing the 3-on-3 format? How have you felt about the amount of space and what you've had to navigate on both ends?
Yeah, although the court's smaller, I just feel like obviously the space is so much more open just with it being three players out there. But the format, I think it's really unique and fun. Again, it gives you kind of a different um outlook on the game and allows you to work on different things. So far it's been exciting, and I feel like we're just gonna keep on growing as a team and me personally individually. But as far as like defense, I feel like that's just something that I've always done and just have to continue to do to impose my will, especially just being smaller, just find ways to irritate the offense and make it challenging for them.
Got you. Thank you.
It was Monroe Sports.
Thank you. My question is for Coach. What was the message, I guess, to inspire confidence for the Phantom after, a little rough opening weekend?
Yeah, I think honestly, getting Natisha in there and having another body and another weapon offensively and her defensive pressure and stuff really helped us. But I'll be honest, there wasn't the biggest message was we left that. We now know how intense it is and how competitive it was. And it was on us to respond, even me as a coach in the preparation part of it. But they're professionals. And I think the competitive juices in them just started flowing. And we knew immediately we would be better. And we were obviously a little limited in the preseason. We had one preseason. We ended up having to play with 4 for the whole preseason game. We didn't get a second preseason game because of limited bodies. So that was another kind of just time for us to get together. And now we really saw how it was. And every day we've been better as a group. And we're excited to go into a back-to-back tonight, this weekend with the personnel we have.
Thank Coach.
There we go, John.
Yes, Coach. Obviously, offense was a struggle this past weekend. Satu Sabali was 9 of 23 and 7 turnovers. I had her for the first 2 games. Did you like the look she was getting, or do you have to adjust more on how you want the offense to flow?
Yeah, I think we're obviously in a constant state of adjustment, and that's where we should be. With this league and us as a coaching staff. So we got to put Satu in positions where she can be successful, and then Satu knows she's challenging herself. Satu knows she's got to play better and she's got to execute better. So it's always on both sides of the ball. They're all still, as I mentioned, getting used to playing with each other, but obviously Satu is a top player in the world, and we've got to get her in her spots. But she also knows she's going to play better on both sides of the ball. So that's a challenge we're excited about the last few days, watching film with her, watching film as a group. We like to keep everybody on the same page. So while I have individual clips, we also watch them as a group. So everybody knows the communication, what we're expecting of Satu, what we're expecting of Tisha. So it's we're going to keep getting better at that, but 100%, like we've got to get Satu going, and that's on me and on Satu and the group in general.
Okay, we'll go Jeff and then Nikias to close us out.
Thank you. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for taking the time. My question will be for Coach. It's kind of a two-part question. There's been so many moving pieces on Phantom. You kind of touched on it before. How do you think your players have responded, and what has Tisha brought to this roster that perhaps wasn't there before?
Great question. I'll start with Tisha because I really want to talk about it. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, just her playmaking and her tenacity on the defensive side of the ball. We needed that, and that relieves. At the end of the day, if you can have really good ball pressure and contain it, which she can do, it can take away some of the actions they're running because, it's all pretty simple basketball at the end of the day. But that pressure can get somebody to turn their back and get them to take a split second, and the read's not there anymore, allows us to close our gap or to cover up any mistake we may have made on an off-ball screen or any action. So that's been awesome. And then just even on offense, her being able to push the pace, great development thing for her is going to be shooting open shots and shooting shots when they go under a ball screen or whatever. But we're even challenging her now to keep pushing her pace, keep getting the reads. There's a lot more space. And I think, as she now just arrived, getting days under her belt, like these next couple games are going to be an awesome opportunity for her to showcase her skills on a national set. And that's what this league is about. Can you repeat the first question? I forgot.
Absolutely. There have been there have been a lot of moving pieces on Phantom. There's been a lot of transition that other teams haven't had to deal with. So how have you adjusted those challenges, and how have your players responded?
Sleepless nights, I'll tell you that. But that's what I hear. Like my mind goes to how I can help it. It hasn't been ideal. There's obviously some commitments here and there. People are in and out. This is still their off season, so I know some prior commitments were there. And then we've had some banged up bodies and injuries that are unfortunate. So it hasn't been ideal, but our job is always to be as professional as we can to create an environment where they feel like they're getting better individually and also as a group. So I think we've done that, with my assistant Asia, and so we're just going to kind of keep being positive with it. We know every team will deal with some type of this stuff throughout the season, and we're just dealing with it right now. So it's not ideal by any means, but we're just going to keep plugging away, and we're getting better.
Appreciate your time and insight, both of you.
Nikias, last one.
Yeah, just another quick one for Coach, kind of bouncing off of kind of the moving pieces of the portion. There was a lineup change from game 1 to game 2, and you mentioned the defense felt a lot better in game 2. Did you feel do you feel better about the defense with those smaller switchier lineups? Is that something you want to move forward with?
Yeah, I mean, if watching the clip film closely, we started obviously a smaller lineup. We matched up Satu with Dearica. It's a pretty good matchup for both of them. But the goal was to keep Satu on Dearica and be able to show a little bit, keep our matchups. We had to fight over because Enrique and Ryan are such great shooters, and Ray and things like that. So, and I thought we did a good job. But that was more of I think it's night in and night out. And sometimes you're matching up your personnel to their personnel. Sometimes you're creating a mismatch. We have that luxury, with BG as a big, and like arguably there is no match, there is a mismatch every time somebody's guarding her, no matter the size. So it'll be challenges for her defensively sometimes to get better at those things. That's why we're here to create those experiences for her. But yeah, and I thought, like, obviously from a defensive, having Tasha and Satu out there and then Sabrina, like that's it would be a good lineup to start. Also very dynamic offensively. And we saw improvements, from the limited time we've had together as a group in practice and obviously games. Like I thought I walked away even watching the film the day after, like that we made big improvements and how can we get better. And I thought BG came in and I thought Lou did a great job. And obviously Natisha came in and changed the pace of our offense and defense really well. So a lot of really good things, from this last game, and we're excited to build on that.
All right, we'll end it there. Thanks, guys.